Hi everyone! My name is Kylie Dalbier and I am a music education student and a clarinet student in the USC School of Music. I would like to focus on 3 educational technology resources that you may not have heard of, which are specific to a music classroom, but of course in my case the band room. The Apple App Store categorizes the Tonal Energy app as a powerful practice tool. My own experience has certainly proven this to be true. As a music student that has spent a great deal of time the last decade of my life practicing, I've always been on the lookout for apps that make my practice time a little more efficient. Practically every student in the USC School of Music has this app on their phone or tablet, and for very good reason. The app contains numerous capabilities, including an extremely precise tuner, a pitch generator, a sound analyzer, and a metronome. The variety of uses and the ability to customize the app in endless ways makes it well worth the $3.99 it costs in the App Store. This is a great tool for music students of all levels. I became aware of it in high school, but I have seen even middle school students using it in my observations. It is easy to use and gets a student off to a great start in their musicianship by teaching them to be critical and self-aware of numerous aspects of their own playing. First, let's take a look at the tuner. Just for clarification, all of the images in the tonal energy section of this presentation are screenshots from my own phone. The primary job of a tuner is to tell you if your instrument is in tune, of course. The graphic representation will smile at you when you're in tune or display colored semicircles above or below the center to show how in tune you are. On the bottom of the screen, it gives a numerical representation of how sharp or flat you are. This is good for a student who thinks a little bit more mathematically than visually. As mentioned earlier, this app has a lot of customizable features, more than I can even describe in the amount of time that I have. In the image on the right, you will see options to change the mode and range. This allows you to specify what musical context you're in, for example, winds or stringed instruments or voice. You can also choose how finely tuned you want to be and edit damping levels. In the image on the left here, you will see the temperament option. Throughout the ages, instruments haven't always used the same tuning systems. It has changed along with musical styles and musical or scientific developments. If anyone would like to learn a little bit more about this, I would be happy to talk to you. I could talk about it all day, but I don't want to get sidetracked. One might want to change temperaments if they're performing a piece from a certain era on a period instrument and wanted it to sound authentic as possible. This is more for an advanced musician, but is also good to have. Finally, in the last picture, you will see that some of the metronome capabilities are available on this page if you would like to use it at the same time as the tuning feature, but don't want to constantly toggle back and forth between pages. I will talk about the metronome later. On the next page, you will find a pitch generator. The format that you're looking at it now is the pitch pipe. This allows you to generate any pitch you want that is within the playing ability of your device, which will not be able to play extremely high or extremely low notes, but you shouldn't worry because you won't really need those. You can change the sound of the pitch generator to sound like practically any instrument you want. I chose a B-flat clarinet because that's my primary instrument. You can also choose transposition if you wish. One may choose to do this based off of which instrument they play. On the clarinet, trumpet, and several other instruments, a C is the same as a B-flat on the piano, which plays at the concert pitch, or correct pitch. Although this may sound kind of fusing, it's actually done for a host of reasons that accommodate the range of the instrument and allow for ease of playing and reading the music for a musician. Using the transposition tool make it easier for beginning players to understand what they're looking at. The pitch generator also comes in a string and piano format. You will see in the center image a list of string tunings. Different stringed instruments may use a different number of strings as well as different note name strings. This menu allows you to pick from a great variety of instruments and tunings, including period instruments like the viola da gamba, which isn't really used today. Finally, there is the piano format, which you can use to sustain individual pitches or whole chords. You can choose any of the 3 pitch generator formats based on what you're comfortable with and familiar with. I like the piano because that instrument was actually my primary before I began intensively studying the clarinet in college, but I also frequently use the pitch pipe because it's much easier to move between octaves. The next main feature of this app is the sound analyzer. This can be displayed in several different formats that I will show you in a minute. It is basically an extra advanced tuner. It can break down your sound into the various components that no middle school or high school student will ever need or even have to understand. However, it is a pretty neat feature to have. It applies a little bit more to analyzing sound on a scientific level. These are the 4 different formats of the sound analyzer. From left to right, you will see the waveform pitch format, spectral, harmonic, and note staff on the right. Again, the benefit of this feature pertains much more to the scientific aspect of sound production, but students can use it to check for consistency and stability in tone if they would like. Finally, we have the metronome feature. This is the feature that I have always used the most. It can be set to any time signature with practically any subdivision. You can set the screen to flash on each beat if you would prefer to keep time visually rather than with the ticking sound. If you're trying to determine what the tempo of something you're listening to is, you can tap the tempo, which is the musical term for speed, and it will tell you how fast you're going. Something interesting that I actually recently discovered on this is that you can preset certain rhythm and tempo changes. Once students enter high school, they will be encountering music that may change key, speed, or time to signature instantaneously within a piece. This feature will allow them to preset how many features they want of a certain speed and time signature, and then how many of the next, and so on, so that way they don't have to stop in between sections of a piece of music to change all the settings on the metronome. The use of this app is for musicians of all levels, and it's practically endless. I highly recommend that students invest in this on their own, or band programs have this purchased for school devices in order to encourage high levels of accuracy and musicianship from the very beginning. Another tool that is very useful in a music classroom is Smart Music. According to its website, Smart Music is a web-based music education platform that connects teachers and students. This primarily is used to help guide students' practice, encouraging them to strive for 100% accuracy and giving them lots of different resources to be able to do so. I wasn't aware of this tool until I used it in a music theory class my freshman year of college, but it is geared towards a wide range of levels and classroom settings. The features, as listed on the website, include tools for effective practice, thorough and easy-to-use assessment reports, programs designed for curriculum reinforcement, and a variety of customizable features for improved user accessibility. All of the main points that I'm about to give you are also outlined and described on the Smart Music website. I will try to give you a brief explanation of each in my own words and give you a little context based on my own experiences with the program. Smart Music first boasts of its effective practice capabilities. In the picture on this slide, you'll see that the devices have a piece of music with red and green notes on it. This program gives a student a piece of music to play or sing depending on their need, starts a metronome, and then listens and records the student's accuracy as they sing or play whatever is on their screen. The program grades the student's performance on its own, so he or she doesn't have to wait for a teacher to check it for them to identify errors and give feedback. My only issue with this is that depending on the quality of your microphone, it may not work super well, and it might count things wrong that should have been correct. I've used the repertoire library a ton. It is very extensive and quite user-friendly. This allows students to look for any solo pieces or etudes they are studying in order to access the sheet music to it. If applicable, it will also include a piano accompaniment with recording capabilities that a student can practice with. This is a great resource for middle and high school students working on audition pieces for region band auditions or solo competitions. Other valuable practice tools include, but are certainly not limited to, a metronome and tuner. Smart Music makes it easy for students and teachers to communicate on assignments. Comments can be left on every assignment and recording by the teacher to help make corrections, and students can leave comments to express questions or concerns. Next, let's look at the assessment report features. This pertains more to the teachers than to the students. Units and materials are very customizable to the teachers and the class's needs. The gradebook makes it easy to track student progress by neatly compiling a student's work all into one place. You can organize assignments multiple ways based on what you're trying to accomplish and what kinds of trends you're trying to identify. There are basic rubrics provided that can save you a little of time creating assignments and make assignments fit to your exact purposes. Assignments can also be organized into units and then distributed to multiple classes, so that way you don't have to create and distribute materials for each class or student individually, so you don't have to go into each class and create it separately every single time. Smart Music can also record a student's activity by telling you how much time they've spent practicing or how long it took them to complete an assignment. This way you can help them understand something that they're taking a little bit too long to do, or you can hold them accountable if they're saying that they're looking at their homework, but they're actually not. I mentioned earlier that there's a vast music library available, and that can be a great tool to aid in their solo musicianship. It is also extremely helpful to search for recording of pieces that they're playing. However, the problem with searching for recordings online is that it's difficult to find recordings that are actually good because there's so many out there. With a professional reference recordings tool, the work has already been done for the student and a high-quality, reliable recording is already right at their fingertips. An important part of being a good musician is also being a good sight reader. Being a good sight reader means that you can look at any brand new piece of music and play it and make sense of it without having any disastrous mistakes. This is important on both an ensemble and a solo level. The sight reading builder will generate a brand new, never-before-seen passage of music based off of a set of criteria made by the teacher. These criteria include possible keys, time signatures, length, and levels of difficulty. In the past, if a teacher wanted a student to play a passage of music for an accuracy grade, as mentioned before, they had to purchase and use another music rating software that was compatible with Smart Music and upload the assignment from there. However, this new feature allows teachers to quickly and easily compose assignments within the program, so they're saving money and they're saving time by not having to do so much logistical work. Smart Music is compatible with a wide variety of devices, including laptop computers, Chromebooks, and iPads. This is a great development because now many schools provide devices for their students that are tablets, not laptops. Something interesting that I didn't know before doing this research is that the settings of Smart Music can actually be adjusted for colorblind students. And finally, this program is extremely affordable to bring to your classroom. The initial teacher price is $40 per year, and students can be added onto that at different prices depending on your need. For essential content, you can add as many students as you want for free. The more capabilities you add, the more it costs, up to $20 per student, and you can arrange that to be paid by the student or by the school. I think that pricing is an absolute steal with all of the beneficial features and capabilities you get out of it. The final classroom tool I would like to talk about is Sight Reading Factory. This is one that I actually used in high school. It's a cloud-based platform with advanced programming that allows it to instantly compose short pieces of music to be sight-read. As you may remember that I mentioned sight reading earlier. As a reminder, this is where a musician plays through a piece they've never seen before to the best of their ability, ideally without stopping. Sight reading is a major part of any kind of musical audition. Students auditioning for middle school region band all the way up to professionals auditioning for symphony orchestras need to be good at this. Using a sight reading generator not only aids in personal skills in musicianship, but it can also expedite the learning process for beginners and for ensembles as a whole. Before sight reading generators were created, a student normally would have had to buy more and more music books so they wouldn't run out of brand new things to read. This is easier and cheaper, and it can ensure that your sight reading music library will never be emptied. Now that you know the background of this resource, let's look at how it's used. Step 1 is to pick your instrument or voice type. Sight Reading Factory can create sight reading passages for all instruments, whether it's wind, percussion, strings, piano, guitar, choral, you name it, they probably have it. It can even generate full ensemble pieces with numerous parts as if you're practicing for full group sight reading. Next, you'll pick your level of difficulty. It may take some experimenting to figure out what's just right, but it's important that you find a nice balance between not too hard and not too easy, so that way you're reasonably challenged, or your students are reasonably challenged. Next, you can choose a time signature or multiple, and the same with key signatures. You can choose one or a few. This is beneficial because sometimes you might want to know what you're getting, or you might want to be surprised, and you also don't want to get something that you have no idea how to play. Different key signatures and time signatures are introduced over time to students, not all at once, so you don't want to give them something that they don't know and set them up for failure. Finally, once you've put in all of this information, you can create a brand new piece of music that has never been seen before and will never be seen again. And you can create multiple all at once, and then you can go back and change the settings if you want to try something new. This program is for everyone. It's for all levels of musicians, from brand new 6th grade band all the way to professional. It can be used on a laptop or tablets or phones, and you can use it you can assign it to students as homework or encourage them to invest in it on their own. This is similar in pricing to Smart Music with a teacher-based price, and you add on per student, and it's about the same price as well, actually. I hope this information was all beneficial to you and that you can apply it if you are a music teacher as well.